Now, if you clicked on this video, then it most likely means that you're thinking about owning an American Bully. I'm here to tell you right now that owning an American Bully is way different than owning your average dog. Today, I'm gonna give you 10 tips to help you become a better American Bully owner, so keep watching. The American Bully is one of the newer dog breeds that has become very popular. You see a lot of celebrities owning them. I own one. A lot of people are starting to get one, and you may be wanting one too. So I'm gonna show you 10 tips on how to become a better owner. Now, these aren't your average tips like train your dog. Even though I have a lot of training videos on this channel that you could check out, I wanna give you some real food for thought, what you need to be thinking about when it comes to owning these dogs. The first tip on my list is you need to know what kind of class of American Bully do you want. Do you want a standard, a classic, maybe you want an XL? This is very important because if you have a small apartment, an XL is not going to work for you. If you have a smaller apartment, maybe a classic could work for you, or a pocket. But it's very important to get this down right because you don't want a dog that's too small that you want to be active with, and also you don't want a dog that's too big like the XL that cannot fit in the standards of your home. So you got to make sure you nail this down right. Even if you're moving, you still have to keep that into consideration. Doesn't matter where you relocate, the size of your dog doesn't matter, because this plays a part in feeding them, what kind of gear they need, etc. for the long run. It's very important you get this down right. Which leads to number 2 on my list is know the expenses of your dog. If you haven't got your American Bully yet, you will really quickly find out that anything 2,000 below can be very sketchy. These dogs are expensive. I'm talking $2,000 and up. Some even go to $10,000. I don't advise you to spend $10,000, especially if that's all you got. But do your shopping around, do your due diligence. Don't get scammed on these groups, internets. Know that these dogs do have a price to them, and the better quality dog that you want, just know the more you're gonna pay for that dog. But the expenses don't stop there. You got to think about all the vet visits. You got to think about the food, the gear they may need. You need to set aside a budget in case they get sick. So you got to dial in your expenses. Number 3 on my list is know the common health problems that come with this dog. Now, the average lifespan of the American Bully is about 13 years, give or take. Now, there's other things that come with the American Bully. Some of them can have hip dysplasia. Some of them can have skin allergies. There's some of them with joint problems, especially if you're getting like these so-called exotic dogs. They can have really hard time walking around and not be as mobile. So health problems is something we have to factor in if we're thinking about getting the American Bully. These are common health problems, and there's a little bit more that you need to go down. I highly advise you to do your research on them. 4th tip on my list is have a clear diet for your dog. Maybe you want to go the raw feeding route, or maybe you just want to give your dog a high-end kibble. One thing you also got to know is if your dog has allergies, they may need hypoallergenic food. So it's very important that you have your dog's diet dialed in. Doesn't matter which route you go. I'm not saying one's better than the other. Just know what you want to feed them. Also, if you want to feed them the kibble route or the raw route, it's important that we don't just pump them with supplements. You will see on my last video about the American Bully 8 mistakes. Do not pump your dog with supplements unless it is needed. The 5th tip on the list is know your dog's limits when it comes to exercising. Now, the smaller classes of the American Bully are not as mobile and doesn't have as much movement as the XL Bully. So know where your dog is in terms of their movement. If they're a smaller dog, obviously they're not going to be weight pulling all kinds of weight, and they're not going to be able to run as fast as possible, do a bunch of things that the XL Bully can. Those dogs are limited, so just know what kind of dog, what fits your lifestyle. If you're a hiker, if you're a very active person, then you want to get a dog that has a lot of movement, is able to get out there, have all that energy drained out with whatever activity you guys are doing. Just know the movement, the limits, and don't overdo it with your dog, because you can overheat your dog, and that is something we don't want because it can be fatal. So just know the limits. The 6th tip on my list is something that a lot of people don't think about, is have good security for your home. I hear stories all the time about how American Bullies are getting stolen from people's yards due to them not, just being home or them being inside the house, and you have a thief just come and swoop your puppy or your dog out of your front yard in plain daylight. It's a tragedy, and most of the time these dogs do not get returned and no one finds them. So have a security for your house. Maybe it's a camera, you have someone watching your dogs at all times. You have to count that these dogs are very expensive, and a lot of people view these dogs as luxury dogs. Same with kind of like the Frenchies. Frenchies get stolen a lot as well. So American Bullies are likely to get stolen out of your yard. Just have a plan for security. Something a lot of people don't think about, but you have to do it. It's a must. The 7th tip on my list is avoid co-owning a dog with someone else that you don't know. I'm in a lot of bully breed groups, and a lot of people are co-owning dogs because they have a deal with the money. A dog probably costs like $10,000. They do $5,000 each, and they co-own a dog. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen or hardly seen any of these kind of situations turn out for the good. A lot of them are trying to take people to court, trying to sue people just because, something fell off with the deal that they have in the contract. So I'm telling you right now, if you can own your puppy 100%, that is your dog, I highly advise you to do it. You don't want to share your dog with other people because you might have certain plans for your dog, certain goals for your dog, certain training that you want done for your dog. It just depends on what you want from the dog. I highly advise you don't co-own your dog. The 8th tip that I got is don't just get an American Bully just for dog breeding, okay? A lot of people are wanting to start dog breeding programs and the dog breeding business, but I highly advise you to find a mentor if you want to go down this route. I'm not going to say you can't do it. I think the kennels that are bettering the breed by healthy breeding and making sure they're getting rid of the bad traits of the dogs are good for the bully community. But if you're just jumping in, getting your American Bully just to jump into a business, and you're going in just for the money, then I promise you it's not going to turn out how you think it is. It is not just a quick cash grab. You need to have a mentor. Research on how to actually do the business. Find out who's done it before that are very successful in their fields and learn from them. Go under their wing. You don't want to just get the American Bully, breed a couple puppies and get rid of that bully and then start by saving a puppy and then redoing it all over again. I've seen a lot of people start it, they fail it, and then a lot of those puppies end up in the shelter. Do not do that. Know what you're doing if you want to go down the dog breeding business route, but research first. The 9th tip that I have for you is find a good vet that specializes in this breed. Now, a lot of people could avoid a lot of vet expenses with finding a guy that's familiar with the American Bully. And you want to make sure that they're safe with that vet if you have to leave them overnight or if they have to do any kind of procedures with them. Maybe even if it's just the ear crop, that's a perfect example. You need to know someone that knows what they're doing when it comes to an ear crop. That's one example, but there's so many more. It could be neutering, it could be whatever your plans are. If it's just a sick dog, know that a vet is going to take care of him and knows what he's doing. I cannot stress that enough. Now, the 10th tip is get involved with the community. A lot of people are just getting the bully, showing them off on Instagram, showing them off on Facebook. No one ever sees the dog. You got to get out there and start building the community. Have fun with the community. We need to spread positive vibes with these dogs because a lot of people still, view them as dangerous dogs, even though they're some of the best dogs in the world. Just get involved, spread positive messages with everybody, start networking with people. I like to go to bully breed events because, I get to meet new people, some amazing dogs that I see out there. And then you could show off your dog, and especially you could compete if you have a well-trained dog. Again, if you're looking for any training videos, you could check out the channel. But don't be afraid to get out there and compete if you want to compete. It's very rewarding when you have a great, excellent dog that looks good, he's trained good, and it reflects what kind of owner you are. Leave a comment below and tell me what tip is the best tip that I've given you today and what you didn't think about. And if you have any more tips for other bully breed owners, then you can leave that down below. I have another video on 8 mistakes that you need to avoid when you first get in your American Bully. I will put that video at the end of this video or a link in the description. You need to go check that out right now so you can avoid the mistakes.